Hello, hello, hello. Hooligan Soccer podcast coming at you. We're after a short international break hiatus with myself, Gary Stryker, the wiggly-fingered gentleman, the Hooligan, and a special guest, AJ from Five Stripes Weekly, an Atlanta United podcast.
Stripe. Five
stripes, singular. Five stripes,
it is
singular.
Not a plural stripes. It is a singular stripe.
Forgive me for the whole entire franchise of Atlanta United. I apologize profusely on behalf of the Hooligan Soccer enterprise.
AJ, thank you so much for being here today. Aside from the fact that we butchered your podcast name, we love having you.
It's
very
all good, gentlemen. Pleasure to be on. Thank you guys for having me.
Wonderful. Well, rank amateurness, obviously sort of coursing through the show as always. So hopefully you can bring a little bit of class and elevate the game a little bit, AJ, as well. So as we have been rolling through and as the MLS sort of before the sort of playoff season comes to an end, we've been sort of wrapping up. Last episode was a sort of a wrap up of the West Coast Conference. And now we're going to do the Eastern Conference. And that's, of course, why we have AJ. So we're going to get into it, cover what's been going on the MLS Eastern Conference, how the playoffs are looking, and then of course as well just have a look into some of the games this weekend, which I know there's a biggie going on as well with those the Herons and against Charlotte. So we'll talk about that and touch on that.
Crowns, but you can call them the Crowns, the Queen City.
The Queen City, the Crowns, yes, of course. Yeah. So anyway, while we were there, Hooligan, you are well. You've been bashing out a lot of content on hooligan-soccer.com, which has been fantastic.
Listen, international break may be a break for some, but it is not a break for me, nor for my compatriot Joseph Paxton, who has been following all of the UEFA qualifiers as well as some of the CONMEBOL shenanigans, and I believe we'll be doing an update on the African World Cup qualifying, which took some interesting turns. Yes. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the MLS. So let us remain focused
Eastern
on
Conference.
that.
Exactly. Yes. So let's get into it. So AJ, you are obviously 1/3 of the Five Stripe podcast. And I believe obviously you cover Atlanta United. Of course, you're exclusively Atlanta, which is fantastic. So what the hell has gone on this season? I mean, we thought once you signed Almiron, obviously with obviously your sort of all those ex-Premier League players as well, with Brad Guzan and sort of some of the other talents as well. Yeah, it was like, you guys should at least make the playoffs. So what the fuck happened?
Whew, where to begin? It's really there's so much. I mean, the crux of it is that this team has never gelled at all this season, and we've gone through two spurts where we've gone 9 or 10 games winless. And you can't do that in any season and expect to really keep most of your fan base. And I think that's the tough part is not only on our end, creating content for LA United, about LA United. Oh, it is a struggle. It is a struggle bus every single week. And but, if you are into hating on your own club, I mean, it is unfortunately we have that in a bunches, but it's the crux of it probably is though and there's not like hatred, there's just hating, just soft hating.
Very key point and a fine distinction to make.
Yes, and because yes, you can hate the play that's happening, you can hate things that are going on at the club. It's not that you're bashing the club. It's not that you're, all that type of stuff. But I think the crux of it is that, Ronnie Deila, as a head coach coming into the season, there was a cultural problem before he even stepped in the door. And, Carlos Bocanegra, the roots run deep, unfortunately, in his impact. And it is unfortunate that it is still permeating throughout the club. And it's not just him. It's, the hires that were made throughout his tenure, throughout also the end of Darren Eales' tenure, where, unfortunately, I think there was a lot of negligence. And that cultural malaise, if you will, has pretty much made LA United really difficult to try to even just out of the locker room. It seems like there's issues, and it's not that these players despise each other or anything like that. It's just that they act like they've never played with each other before. And now we are, I think, 28 games in, something like that. Like,
Correct. Yeah.
you cannot look the way you do pretty much, still pretty much 6 games left. That is
Mhm.
outrageous. And yeah, they basically the forward line has not figured out how to play with each other. Alexei Miranchuk also, as a player, he's divided opinion, but he hasn't been able to find any connection really with Miguel Almiron, with Emmanuel
Yeah.
Latelat, Sava Lapshanidze as well. Pretty much 0 goals in the regular season. It is not good. It is just the forward line can't click. And
Yeah.
beyond that, the midfield was pretty barren as far as connectivity, as far as what we need from the engine room, which is basically we had 2 guys that basically couldn't play more than 60, 70 minutes every single match. And when you have to sub out your guys there, and then there's defensively issues, there's creativity issues. I mean, yeah, basically we just had to lump it forward, play Route 1, and it's just not good enough as far as, you know, uh as a whole, as a squad, they look like they're just strangers. And then on top of that, you have now 41-year-old Brad Guzan, who also has lost quite a few reaction time, unfortunately. And then the defense is it was chopped and changed pretty much for, I think, about 4 months. We didn't have our first choice defense
Hmm.
pretty much for 2 games in a row at all. It just how do you win? How do you win that way? Your
Yeah.
foundation.
AJ, I've got to say, you have painted a dire, um, I don't think that Gustav Klimt could have made this. If he had done the Scream and was an Atlanta fan, the Screamer would be wearing the 5-stripe uniform of black and red. Um, but let's try to spin. Has there been any positives
Hmm.
out of this season?
Well,
There's got to at least be some upside. Oh, let me start with this. You beat Nashville.
we did, and we'll
Okay,
take that
there's
against
one.
our rivals or in a derby, but ultimately, it's too little, too late, really, for most of the fans, and I think it's
Right.
for the casual fans, they've checked out, unfortunately.
Okay.
And when there was the pretty much like that fervor from the off season, making the moves, signing Emmanuel Latelat, record fee, all
Yeah.
that, it very much kind of brought this kind of excitement that not only the fans had, the pundits were fooled too, and
I felt
everyone
it.
around, everyone around the
If you
league.
look at the preseason write up that we did over at Hooligan, you see there was enthusiasm all across the board for these signings. I thought Latelaf was brilliant. I thought Almiron coming back was going to be an emotional boost, a shot on the arm. And I was expecting big things. And I'm not, I'm certainly not a United go hard, but I was like, yeah, they're going to be great. They have this deep fan base. I mean, you've got the largest crowds in the MLS by exponential amounts, like nearly double, right? So I mean, um,
Yeah, yeah, and it's that it's
it is a real, it is a bummer. Oh, I
yeah.
just thought of a second positive for your team. You're not as bad as the San Jose Earthquakes were last year.
Right. And if we were, it'd be very tough, but it's this. It's, I had a thought before pre-match or pre-show we had something. I have now forgotten it, but either way, LA United, it's this. We can't even be as bad as, a San Jose when there's a wooden spoon involved. Like, that's how bad we are at being bad. That's just not good enough. Like, if you're gonna be bad, just outright
Right.
be bad, and just it's the hope that gets you, right? It's the old saying, it's the hope that kills you. And
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
once in a while, the fans kind of get this little bit of hope, and it's just like, you know, just not accepting it. I think it's just not enough. It's not enough to get the fans on board again.
I mean, do you really think that there is an existential threat to the club from a season such as this? Or I mean, because I look at Atlanta as one of those perennial evergreen institutions within the MLS that is so solid, that always manages to get people into Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They are as sure a thing in this league as there is. Are you concerned that that could be under pressure?
Yeah, it's definitely under threat. I mean, the
Mm,
goodwill from the first 3 years, or maybe even like just 2.5 years, really, has really held over pretty much the fan base. And it's that every single year, it's like, oh yeah, well, we made a couple moves. Well, okay, well, okay, I'll buy into it. All right, we'll
mm.
continue to keep our season tickets. All right, all right. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much 5 years running now where we've been mediocre or worse, and this season we have been absolutely worse. And uh, yeah, at that point, the the PTSD from fans is rife. They're absolutely not going to it says you have to next season, even if we are, top 4 and, killing it, everyone's firing, there's still going to be some tepid fans that are like, are we sure? Are we sure this is the real Atlanta United?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
we don't
Okay.
believe it yet. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I mean, and you had such an insane run in the postseason last year. I mean, you squeaked in on that ninth spot,
yeah.
toppled down, major play in, toppled
Mhm.
Miami. By the way, thank you for that. Any team that issues a beatdown or a hurt on Miami always has my love.
We did the
Um,
whole league a favor pretty much. Yeah.
Thank
And
you. You did. You did. And
yeah.
for that,
Mhm.
let's go one more year with those season tickets, because that's
Right.
why
Yeah,
not?
and that's pretty much kind of part of what helped it, and then also, though, that papered over the cracks because before that, we were on a
Mm,
unprecedented pace as far as LA United goes as being terrible, and with
yeah.
that, it was, okay, well, n are we actually, maybe better than the sum of the parts, or is it something else? And unfortunately, if you trot out pretty much the same squad except for Emmanuel Lat and Miguel Miron, you
Mm,
pretty much, yeah, it's like you're asking for it. You're not as good as, you know, beating Inter Miami, which I think that was a game state. That was we, uh, playing more counterattack football against Inter Miami was the perfect antidote for, Tata
right.
Martino's side that, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we know how
Yeah.
they like to play. They want the ball.
Yeah.
We didn't want the ball. We just wanted to be direct, vertical play and score against you and then bunker. And
Yeah.
I mean, that we did, and we did it really well. But once we faced other teams that did it against us as well, we couldn't do it.
Yeah. Okay.
A-
Wow.
AJ, so one, I mean, thank you for that very sort of elaborate sort of analogy of, or sort of even analogy, just elaborate explanation of Atlanta United's season.
Yeah.
Do you think going into next season, do you think there's a sort of, is it a cultural issue, or is it kind of there just needs a little bit of tweaking, or what would you change? Because I mean, just looking at those Almiron stats again, like the player that he was at Newcastle before he came over, he was on fire. He was lighting the Premier League. He was a very dangerous player, and so is he just checked out? And then, but it seems to be across the entire team as well. So what do you think needs to change, or what would you change if you could?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Miggy has checked out. He's still been work rate wise, absolutely the same guy. I mean, it doesn't really seem like nobody's really like have nobody's down tooled, nobody's like given up. I think culturally, it's it's a really deep issue, and if I knew the answers, then and if the team knew the answers, they would have solved it. It's
Mm,
it's not that simple. I think it's deeply ingrained where it's a lot of misfits within the squad. They don't like we have Alexei Miranchuk, who needs runners. He needs guys that also like he rarely is able to turn in midfield. He's rarely able to be that guy that can run with the ball, really be someone that's press resistant. But you know, we need somebody in there to create, to be able to put in those balls in behind. And it seems like the weighted balls are either too heavy, too light, just not in to the right foot of the player, where they might be left footed, and it's landing on their left foot. And as far as the rest of the players, they're more runners, they're less creators, and if they don't get the ball, and also we can't get the ball to the creators, well, that's a major systemic issue that I think has been slightly identified with the players that have been brought in the summer transfer window. But
Mm.
I mean, if we're gonna kind of go off a small sample size and say, oh yeah, well, that win against Nashville, that pretty much is, that's the antidote. Well, no, I mean, it's really
Yeah.
way too early to say, and I mean, it would be a little foolhardy.
And what about and Latte Lath, I think, is, for me personally, one of the biggest letdowns. I mean, he exploded out of the gates. He had 5 goals, I think, in the first 6 games, something
Something like
like that.
that.
I mean, it's a good statistic.
Hmm.
Um, but has only got 7 on the season. And I know that he had he took a knock or some kind of injury that took him out for a game or two, and he's never really been the same since then. He's missed more big chance. He's got double the amount of misses, big chance misses, that he does goals.
Hmm.
Is this do you think he's just in a slump, or is he just sort of feeding on this is he just feeding on this sort of negativity that might be like surrounding the club as a
Hmm.
whole?
I mean, maybe not feeding, but it is definitely probably affecting him. I think there's
Okay.
confidence issues here. There's a little bit of the yips. It's when you
Oh,
pretty much
yips.
get in.
Yes.
Yep.
Sure.
When you get in the box and you haven't scored in a minute, and this is the only chance you're gonna get in the game in the
Mm-hmm.
box. I mean, yeah, you're gonna probably pull it. You're gonna probably shoot it over the goal. It's yeah. I mean, it's just it's tough to be a striker, especially when you barely get any touches, you're barely in the game, and your one chance
Yeah.
that you get
Yeah.
is kind of marginal. And maybe it is a really great chance. It's a really, really good ball. Well, your eyes get really big, and you're just like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I have to
Right.
put this in. It anything can happen at that point. It's yeah.
Yeah. I
Would you
believe
say?
in French, Gary. Correct me if I'm wrong. In French, they're called les yip. Is what they call the yips in
I think
down in Côte
El,
d'Ivoire.
El Yipo as well, possibly, and for us, the Hispanic community as well. But even speaking of Yips, though, I mean, even looking at Almiron, right? He scored 3 goals, 6 assists, and then 60 shots on goal.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got
Ooh.
a 5% strike rate, which is
Yeah.
Wow.
This is
that
this has
is
That's not
always been
good.
him though.
that
This
is
has always been him. Like
yeah,
he
that is
even in the
Yeah.
good years in 2017, 2018, he's a high volume shot taker and a low conversion rate, essentially, because he's just not that you know, he I wouldn't say he has the yips. He's just not always taking the high percentage chances. And it's ultimately that's been part of his game. That's it's not expected for him to score a lot, but as far as creating for others, I think that's really where I think we want a little bit more from him for sure. But yeah, we know he's that product of yes, you can expect a work rate that's
AJ, you there?
I am here. I'm here. I'm not sure what happened, but
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened if that was you. That's me, internet. I think it was Hooligan as well. We've marked it. Don't worry. We'll edit that part out as well, and we'll get back
okay.
into it. So
Okay. Cool, cool,
I'll
cool.
just mark it there. Okay. We may have to sort of push on without him as well. He's having internet issues. He says. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Super. I've got that. I put markers on them so I can trim parts of it out as well, and we can go from there.
Okay.
Okay. So we may just carry on and say that we've lost Hooligan. We're having some technical issues. It's saying it's Riverside. Okay. All right. And so we seem to be having a few technical issues there with the Cooligan as well. So we've lost him. He'll come back when we get in. So with that, any rumors about who players are sort of going to be brought in terms of sort of in the window when the season's over? Is there any excitement, any sort of rumors sort of circulating online, and any hopes and aspirations as well to try and turn this around? Because it does sound a little bit more cultural than players by the sounds of it, but I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, well, the unfortunate part is that pretty much the front office has outlined that they're going to keep the DPs. So Moranchuk, Emmanuel Atilat, Miguel Miron are going to be kept. Now, that might be to the chagrin of a lot of fans, but yeah, it's definitely going to be tough. As far as marquee signing, probably not going to happen. But as far as a midfielder that's been brought in, of course, Steven Alzate has been. The two center backs that have been brought in as well, Ni Mahai and also Juan Baracol, look like they're auditioning for the part. Mahai is definitely going to be in the team next year, I think. But Baracol on loan, he's auditioning for the job. And other than that, I think a lot of the players are going like they're out of contract at the end of the season. So some fullbacks, some midfielders, some forwards as well will be gone by the transfer window and when the season ends. And it's going to be, I think the difficulty is that if they're not going to be DPs, well then, some fans might be hard pressed to find some excitement there, unfortunately.
Where's the impact going to come from? Just regular players almost, right?
Yeah, and so it's gonna be difficult, and especially it's like MLS goes, it's the likes of Inter Miami can continue to bring in DPs, but the rest of the league are they have normal blokes, and unfortunately,
sure,
that's tough to compete.
Yeah, it's going to be challenging, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, well, thank you for that. And moving on from then Atlanta United. Let's look into the remainder of the season on the Eastern Conference as well. I mean, to be honest, looking at this compared to the Western Conference, it looks pretty sewn up. To be perfectly honest, I know Inter have got a lot of games in hand thanks to the Club World Cup as well, so they should be able to sort of crawl their way back up the table and shouldn't have any issues. As Philly have been looking really good.
Well, they're clinched.
You guys,
Philly's already clinched, right? And I think I think Cincinnati with a win this weekend may clinch. Or if not, they're awfully close, right? And I don't think anybody else. I don't think anybody else can clinch this weekend. But both Nashville and Charlotte with wins would put themselves on 53 points, and that's as good a solid. I mean, that's pretty solid. In fact, that may even lock it down. The way things are going. And then, the fundamental issue in the East is that your four bottom teams, and sadly, AJ, Atlanta is one of those, are just so far out of the running that there's not much they can do. They're kind of out of it. So it really, the teams are fighting for those play-in spots, those 8th and 9th positions.
And there's pretty much only one club that pretty much is even kind of close, which is the Red Bulls, and that's it. And it's just so it's it's a 10-team race for the playoff spots, which
you're right. I don't think the Revs are going to make a last minute surge. They don't have it in them. They did have a long run. They had 6 games where they went undefeated, but I don't think they're going to be able to repeat that. Not in their last 5.
And we thought the Western Conference was bad last year, but man, this Eastern Conference is terror bad.
Do you want to know what's interesting? The Western Conference this year there is some badness in the Western Conference. Don't get me wrong. However,
Sure.
there's a lot more parity in the Western Conference than there is in the East, making it a lot more, one word is exciting for that type of scenario. But yeah, looking at this in the East, yeah, the teams that are there now are the teams that are going to make it into the playoffs. But there is quite a lot of drama still to be played out in these last few games.
Yeah.
The main one, of course, will be Saturday's fixture between Charlotte FC and Inter Miami. Oh, am I excited for this one? You have no idea.
But Hooligan, you strike me as being excited purely because you think this is where Miami are going to get their ass handed to them as well. Just the form that Charlotte are on. They've just gone on this winning streak, and that's it. Yeah,
you know me so well, Gary. It's true. No. AJ, earlier you mentioned that Atlanta had a period where they went 9 or 10 games that were winless. Well, Charlotte is currently sitting on a 9-game winning streak. This is not an undefeated streak. This is a winning streak. 9 straight wins. That is very rare in the MLS. It's very rare in any league, actually, where you see 9 games of wins come in. And so, and this is from a Charlotte team that in the middle of the season dipped so low that they were in 10th place. For them to suddenly have this big resurgence, it is one of the great stories of the East, in my opinion. And I think we've got a Miami team that is sadly bereft of Luis Suarez.
He's done them a favor,
as we know, he got banned. He got a 3-game ban.
Yeah,
for good riddance to bad rubbish, as they say.
Is a big favor to them as well, because he is just a dead weight they're carrying around their neck. He really has. The game has left him completely.
It may be a benefit to everybody that Suarez moves on. I would. I mean, there's plenty of clubs in Uruguay where he can go and play for. It wouldn't be a problem. But no, I do like this matchup. Messi will be rested. He didn't play in Argentina's rather tough loss to Ecuador, and it's a good thing too, because I think given the physicality of that game, he would have been dragged off there in a body bag. That was a rough game, and so you've just got Pep Biel, you've got Zaha, you've got all of these fantastic players that are now clicking on Charlotte's side, and then you've got Miami, who are always capable of threats and filled with good players. I just think it's one of the marquee matchups of the weekend.
Yeah, it's a proper 6-pointer for sure. And I mean, it's painful to say that, yes, Charlotte is quite good this year, and they've turned it around. That's really what Atlanta United fans hoped would have happened. But yeah, I mean, Inter Miami, yeah, they are. They're the snake in the grass. They're always, lurking. They can make any game theirs. They can beat anybody in the league if they care enough. And, if Messi wants to play, and yeah, if he plays this weekend, this is the thing. I don't know. I really don't want Charlotte to win in that respect, because, it's just from a rivalry standpoint, even if forced, there's still some banter back and forth. So yeah, I'd prefer, not to have to face that. So yeah, Inter Miami probably should.
Wonderful.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, if you're looking at other matches that matter out of the East, right? You've got FC Cincinnati playing Nashville. That's a battle between second and third, right? Those are always good. Cincinnati's always up for a fight. Nashville and remember, Sturridge and Messi are toe to toe in that golden boot race, right? And Miami, they've got a gift. Messi's got a gift of 4 games in hand over Nashville. So Sammy better start putting them in quick, getting a few more in the bank.
I think we know how this is going to end up. Messi gets top goal scorer, and I think that's pretty nailed on almost in a way, right? It's too easy for him at this level. It really is.
Well, I mean, they could always have him take penalties if they really felt that way. He has not taken a penalty for Inter Miami yet this season. All of his goals are pure. And that what makes what he's doing all the more remarkable. But if they really needed it, just put him on the spot that bam, bam, right? Because he doesn't miss, Messi doesn't miss penalties.
I'm sure his contract has a goal bonus in it as well, right? So I'm sure he probably gets a good sort of like, 50,000 per goal as well. So I'm sure they're like, Messi doesn't need to take penalties. That's okay. Right?
Probably not. But I mean, Messi fans might come for me, but I think they all know. I mean, he's not the absolute best penalty taker. He misses some.
No,
but
he does. Yeah. But it is, in the grand scheme, you tell me if I got Messi on my team, I'm likely going to give him those spot kicks. Certainly, I mean, I know Suarez takes them, and he's good at it. But for my money, I'd give it to the GOAT. I'd be all right with that. And if I missed, well, people would look at my beard and call me the GOAT for other reasons.
There you go. Nice. Well done.
Indeed.
That's why you have it, right?
Wonderful.
I mean,
exactly.
Hey, it's always good for a joke every podcast now and then.
Every now and then we slip it in. Well, I think if we're talking about the color of your goatee as well, I think Hooligan, that's probably a good place to end there as well, as we're on time as well. So, AJ, do you want to just give everyone a bit of a wrap up and just tell them where they can sort of again find your show and tell a little bit more about your show and just give it a quick plug?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you can find us everywhere at Atlanta United Fan TV or ATL UTD Fan TV, and on your favorite podcatcher at 5 Stripe Weekly. And also our network a little bit as well has some other shows on there too. So check it out for all your LA United needs. Even in spite of how bad we are, we're here for your therapy.
All right.
Wonderful.
Well, let's go ATL, man.
Hooligan, as always.
Crush the crew.
Yeah, let's hope.
Let's go.
Let's hope they get there. Hooligan, thank you as always. And as always, Hooligan-Soccer. Find the musings and the writings and the ramblings of the team as well. And AJ, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll be watching this weekend. Take care. Yeah. Thank you.
Peace. Cheers, guys.